Welcome, everybody. We are here with the first day of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial happening in Wisconsin. We're joining jury selection in progress. It's so great to have everybody with me. We're going to have a bunch of time to talk about different things and different elements that are going on. So let's just jump right into this. Here is the judge. This is the same judge who said the victims can't be called victims, and we're going to talk about that to some degree. So let's listen a little bit. Let's jump right in. We'll start to see people's super chats and things come in. Here we go.
Had prior opinions about it. We do want to know about it if you're asked. But if you're confident and can assure us that I realize the very strong distinction between the safeguards built into our system and what's out in the general population. And understand that. If you can do that, then there's not a problem. So you needn't be concerned about having previously formed some impressions about it, as long as you can follow the rules we've talked about. So, what do you think?
I was trying.
Well, you bear with me. Obviously, I've got a big responsibility here of making a decision. And let me ask it this way: do you think you are any less? You think you are any less able to be fair in this case than anybody else who's here?
No, probably not.
Oh boy, this is already a concerning juror, guys.
Okay, thank you very much.
Probably
how
not.
How about next? Number 5.
Just not being able to put my own opinions aside as far as what I've seen and heard about the case.
Well, what would happen if the evidence developed and it actually was different?
Man, it sounds like these potential jurors are saying, I don't know that I can be objective. And the judge is like, it sounds great to me.
Would you be able to set your opinion aside then?
No.
You couldn't?
No.
In spite of actually hearing from people who actually saw or even videoed what happened, you wouldn't be able to put that aside?
Oh boy.
Okay, any reason this juror shouldn't be excused?
No.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Call up the next, please.
Juror number 44. You want to answer?
Yep. Ma'am, would you have answered, or raised your hand rather, to any of the questions asked so far? Thank you very much. Would you take seat number 5 there, please? Okay, now that back row again. Anybody else? I see number 7, 8. Let's give it a second here.
I don't think I could put my feelings aside. I know quite a few police officers and firefighters and talked with them a lot.
I heard you say you knew quite a few police officers and firefighters, and I heard the.
I can't put my feelings aside.
What's funny is the case shouldn't be about police officers, except we know the defense plans to make it about that.
Counter instance.
Well, I shouldn't say feelings, what I know what I think.
Well, you know what you think, but we're talking about hearing the actual evidence.
Right, I don't think I could put it aside.
So if you heard someone testify directly contrary to, and let's say you heard 4 witnesses who are directly contrary to what you think the case was, based upon what you've heard or what you seen, you wouldn't be able to disregard the okay. Any reason this juror shouldn't be excused?
No.
So this happens, and a lot of people don't want to be stuck for weeks at this thing. So a lot of people will lie. You know, the old thing used to be, say that you're racist. Be like, whatever the defendant is, be like, I'm racist. And the idea is to get out. So there's no doubt that to some degree there are people here who are saying that. At the same time, if somebody tells you, hey, I don't think I can be objective, you need to seriously consider that. But it's already got mistrial all over it, particularly with the instructions to the prosecution. You can't refer to the victims as victims, which we'll talk about. Okay, we're just getting into this here.
And answered any of the questions asked so far? No. Thank you very much, sir. Would you take seat number 8? Okay, anybody else? And the last question was if you've ever formed or expressed any opinion, now have, or express any opinion as to the innocence or guilt of the defendant.
Just dropping it in.
Without hearing the evidence. What's your number, sir? 17, and what's up?
My biases go back to 14 months ago. I've been commenting consistently on news feeds and Facebook. It also goes a little further to my belief in the Second Amendment, which comes from Monroe's writings
Hey,
in the Federalist.
he's being
I'm
honest.
going to stop you.
Okay, that's...
I'll read your website, but here.
That is...
No. I'm going to tell you. And you haven't done a single thing wrong. But as I said before, if I didn't say it, I'll say it again. This is not a political trial. One of the problems with the way the media has covered this.
The guy's basically saying, for me, I just believe in the Second Amendment, so I'm likely to side with the guy who did the shooting. That's what the juror is saying here.
In some instances, very, very imprudently. They're important issues for those who seek to lead our country to discuss. What the innocence or guilt of an individual accused of a crime is not one of them. And also, the trial is not about to the extent the trial is about the Constitution. It's about the right to a fair trial. And I don't want you to take this as a lecture. My point is that we don't want to fall into the trap.
Just dismiss the guy, dude. Come on, get him out of here.
Percentage of the media and discuss this as a political trial, or that there are bigger factors than this case at stake in this trial. We're concerned here in this courtroom to try this case in accord with our law.
Between the things the judge has already said and the cartoonish nature of some of these potential jurors, this trial already seems destined for disastrous mistrial. I mean, or not guilty. Not guilty was my initial thought.
Wonderful system that was given to us by our founders. It hasn't always worked perfectly. And in fact, there's some very shameful chapters in the history of juries' determinations in this country. But I've been in this business for 50 years. And
interesting to call it a business.
It's a lot better now than it was 50 years ago. And if we keep at it and try to contain our...
By the way, I'm ban hammering people. It's like almost impossible to keep up to how many people we're banning already. It's crazy.
So I want this case to reflect the greatness of Kenosha and the fairness of Kenosha. And I don't want it to get sidetracked into other issues. Now, I don't care about your opinions on the Second Amendment or somebody else's that are directly contrary. One of the beauties of the jury system, although it's not intended, is that it brings together a composite of the community.
Dear God.
And it isn't just a case isn't being decided on political basis. It's being decided, if it's done properly, on the basis of what does the law say, what are the true facts. That's what the jury decides, is what are the true facts, and how do they fit together, and that comes out as a verdict. So I'm sure you'll be questioned here when we go into the private discussions. I'm sure you'll be questioned about anything that you've put out on the internet or what discussions you've had, but they're not disqualifying.
The guy is saying, I'm a Second Amendment nut and I'm in favor of the shooters. And the judge is like, the things you've told me are not disqualifying.
I just don't want to get into a discussion now where we're talking about the Second Amendment.
Can you imagine?
Or anything like that, because this case is not the Second Amendment, like all the constitutional provisions, have a role in this case, but they are not the focus of this case, okay? If I'm going on, bear with me. Okay, so do you think you can be fair in this case?
No, I do not.
Do you think that there are other people here who are going to be fairer than you would be?
I have no idea how to answer that.
Okay.
I would hope so.
Do you think
Honest.
you're biased?
This guy's honest.
Yes, I do, and it goes back to the politics that you told me to stop.
No, okay. Any reason this gentleman shouldn't be excused?
No.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I guess he's gone. After the lecture, the guy's like, yeah, I'm biased. You're out of here. Wow. Thanks to Heldardo for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate that. Also, thanks to Twisted Hawk. Appreciate it. We also have a coupon code today, Elements of Bathrooms. Gets you 69% off. This is jury selection day 1 of the Kyle Rittenhouse murder trial. Intentional homicide is at issue, as well as a number of other charges.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ma'am, would you have raised your hand in answer to any of the questions asked so far? Okay, you don't have to be bashful about it.
I'm just voicing my opinion about this to a lot of people.
Okay.
I don't
No, number one, is it possible that your opinion, whatever it is, can be changed?
Yes.
If you heard the evidence in the case, which has the safeguards we talked about, do you think you could put aside what you've said before and decide solely on the evidence?
Yes.
Do you think that you'll have to, once you're on the jury, that you might have to swallow your pride and tell your friends, you know, I actually heard all the evidence?
Yeah.
And will you be able to do that?
Yeah.
I'm going to put you in that seat then, and we'll see what happens. Number 17, please.
So what they're doing now, for everybody to understand, is they're going through an initial selection in order of people's jury numbers to get people seated. Then, if you make it through this, then both sides' attorneys get to ask more specific questions and can move to strike.
Out for the video and review, and I could be impartial only given that the facts presented were given to both sides. So just as you stated.
Judge is
so
confused.
Often, facts aren't presented equally. And the one video.
Judge is like, holy shit, this trial's going to be a shit show.
Rittenhouse in a more favorable light than the news did. So all the news clips that were showing up were not favorable for him. And what I'm definitely afraid of right now is, yes, I have somewhat of a preconceived notion, which I could overlook, but if given through the trial, you're starting to see that it's a one-sided, I would have problems with that.
Well,
What?
this is what the Constitution says. Both sides have the right to question the witnesses. Both sides have the right to force witnesses to attend and to present evidence. Both sides are going to be given the right to argue the case.
What is this woman's complaint? That there might be one-sided claims made? That's the entire trial. Is the defense puts together a completely one-sided defense, and the prosecution puts together a completely one-sided prosecution, and then it's up to you to decide. She doesn't know what a trial is.
When every judge takes an oath, from the Chief Justice of the United States right to the municipal judge of the smallest community in the country, every judge takes an additional oath, not just the constitutional oath, but also a judicial oath, which includes the pledge that I will administer justice fairly without respect to persons. That means be fair to everybody who comes in. Don't be looking at who's involved without respect to people. That doesn't mean you don't respect people. It means you don't give an advantage to a bank.
For people asking, I have done jury duty. I discharged my duty as a juror, and I'll talk about it during the upcoming break.
All that up, and you decide solely on the evidence. And that's what is expected of the jurors. Now, you said you saw one and then you saw another and you formed a different view of it. And you didn't see anything that's evidence in the case because there's been no evidence. You have a field of
Right. She's like, I've already seen a lot of one-sided evidence. The trial hasn't started, ma'am. The only thing that counts as evidence is what's presented in the trial.
when you have heard all of the evidence, both parties being fair to produce evidence and to challenge evidence and argue evidence, will you be able to be fair?
No.
Thank you. Did you have your hand up? It's number.
I 16. I verbally already said that he was guilty and all that. And all
I didn't hear what you said.
I verbally admitted that I thought he was guilty, and I figured, okay, while I'm sitting here, I'm going to listen to it. In your explanations in the last couple of times here, I kept asking myself, can I honestly do that? And I keep coming up with a thing. If there's evidence there that would be indicating innocence, I don't think I would be fair to the court. I think to the court, I'm making a specifically change of mind.
Oh my God.
Presentation.
The other issue is it's not innocence. It would be lack of sufficient evidence to say guilt.
Out of my head.
I hope I'm understanding you right, but it sounds like you've made a conclusion early on, and even when you consider
the hell was that?
Injunction from the founders of our country that you should decide solely on the evidence, you're not going to be able to abandon that opinion? Is that what you're saying?
I do not believe I can.
Okay. Any reason this jury?
This guy's
jury
gone.
should be excused? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Who's next?
Sorry, setting up my stream deck
Jury
here.
number 47.
So that guy's gone. Thanks to Jen here for gifting 2 Twitch subs, as well as Dirt Nap and Market Maynor. Also Lord Lebrand. Very much appreciate it.
All right, number 47, would you have raised your hand in answer to any of the questions asked so far?
Yes, sir.
What's up?
I'm a self-employed tile contractor, and I have a job in a house that is closing next Friday that isn't started yet. And if it's not done, those people move into a house without a bathroom.
Uh-oh.
Do you have people work with you?
Just me.
Work for you?
Just me.
How much of a financial loss would you take if a competing contractor were to do that work?
4,000-ish.
That's the gross, or that's your?
That would be the gross.
What would be the amount that you would be out of pocket?
Probably 2,500.
Any reason this juror shouldn't be excused?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Got him out. Got him out. $2,500 in income. He's got him out. Man. What do you think? I mean, like, this is the justice system, folks. These are the considerations. I post to Facebook. I got a tile job. I think the guy's guilty. I'm for the Second Amendment. Really getting a front row seat to this.
All right, sir, would you have raised your hand in answer to any of the questions asked so far?
Sorry?
Would you have raised your hand in answer to any of the questions asked so far? Okay, thank you. Would you take seat number 16? Thank you, sir.
Right. This is a good super chat. It's very clear that this community is watching a lot of Fox News. That's absolutely true.
We have some devices here that to amplify the spoken voice, and they also decrease the ambient noises. And people have used them. In fact, I've used them. And
Microphones,
they work
right?
very well. And we have a schedule where we sanitize them every 6 weeks, so that there's no concern about putting them in.
6 weeks.
Okay, we do it every day. Every time they're used, we do them. So,
Yo-ho.
anybody want a hearing device? They work through this gadget up here. behind they're infrared, I don't know. Anybody want one, just tell the bailiff. Thank you. All right. Let's see, now we were going through about people who have expressed opinions or now have opinions, and I think we're in, what's your seat number, sir? 19? What's up? Let's wait until the... Obama! Yeah.
I have discussed this with multiple officers in my family, and due to how often I've discussed it, I believe my voting is set in stone on this. I do not think my opinion is set in stone on this. I do not feel that I could change that at all.
You know, I'm not trying to be obnoxious, although I can be. But I'm not trying to be obnoxious, but what you're telling me is that you have discussed with other people, and no matter what the evidence is, you're sticking with your opinion.
Yes, I don't
Okay,
think
fair.
my opinion.
No, well, fair enough. I'm not trying to diminish you in any way. All right, any reason this gentleman shouldn't be excused?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Another one bites the dust. Thanks to Blue Louvre as well as JG Straight Shot for the Twitch Prime subscriptions. Very much appreciate it.
Juror number 49.
If you're just joining us, this is jury selection, day one of the Kyle Rittenhouse murder trial. A number of potential jurors have already been excused. They are getting an initial seating, after which time the attorneys on both sides will get to ask further questions. Each has a certain number that they can move to strike. I do want to say thanks also to Brian Caserto and Melissa Tarnoff, both of whom just signed up on my website with the coupon code Elements of Bathrooms.
Thank you very much. Would you take seat number 19? Without tripping, I think she said. All right. Anybody else now who feels that he or she now has or has in the past expressed an opinion as to the innocence or guilt of the defendant? Number... Are you 25?
26.
26. Oh, yeah. And what's up?
I've expressed an opinion.
Okay. Whatever the opinion is, can you abandon it after hearing, well, to have an open mind when the evidence starts and decide exclusively, no matter if it's everything you thought about the case turns out not to be fact, not to be established, even no matter what happens, you'll be able to decide on the basis of the evidence here in the court?
Absolutely.
Okay, fair enough. Anybody else? Okay, number 31.
31, yes. I have expressed an opinion. My nephew was a police officer and left because of the uproar. I will try to be unbiased.
Well, let me ask you this. The uproar, as you refer to it, the unrest, whatever you want to call it, is related to this case only because it is the circumstances under which it occurred. The case, the focus in the case needs to be on the actions of the persons involved. So there were many aspects of what happened during that period that have really almost nothing to do with this case. So I don't know what your nephew, what aspect of it might have upset your nephew or.
Well, my nephew said Kyle Rittenhouse is a hero who should have killed twice as many people, and I agree with him, sir.
Do you think there's any reason for me to think that you are less likely to be fair than anyone else who's here?
Yeah, that she's telling you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 32.
Yes, I've expressed opinions when this all went down from Kenosha, so very deep-rooted in the city, and I have had my opinions. I think the problem I have is the amount and extent of people that I do know in Kenosha and how deep our opinions are about certain things. I think it would be very hard for me to not have outside influences during this time.
Okay, number one.
Are you aware you'll be sequestered with no TV?
In the equation. Just as when I started talking about my pals in school, it was hard for many of them and frightening, I'm sure. But they had to do it because that was their duty. As far as influence by others, one of the instructions I'm going to give those who were selected for the jury is they're not allowed to discuss the case with anyone, not even members of their immediate family, much less anybody else. And what I
Maybe they're not going to be sequestered, by the way, in all seriousness.
pay to say I'm serving on a jury, but then follow up with, and the judge told me that if I talk with you about it, we'll both be in really big trouble. And that's such a perfect thing to say because it's the truth. And we don't want to go there. Believe me, neither of us does, but especially you. You don't want to talk about the case. And in fact, what I sometimes will tell people who get funny about it is I'll tell them,
Funny how?
they'll give me their opinion about a case, and I'm not talking about this one, but they'll give me their opinion about a pending case, and I'll say, you have me at a disadvantage because I haven't heard the evidence yet. And of course, they haven't either, and they should feel like fools for even doing that. But as I said, it's a human tendency to form some impressions and all that stuff. That's all okay. But when you're coming here in the courtroom and you're on the jury, you're like one of the cardinals when they elect the Pope, they lock him up. And the reason they do it, if you research the history, there's some really fascinating reading about how papal elections used to take place. And so they when they cleaned it up, they said, we're going to lock them all up in the room, and they're not coming out until they're not going to be subject to influences by this one or that one or anybody else. And so I know you're well connected. And for the record, I'm acquainted with this person.
God.
She's well known to a member of my family.
Okay, she should be gone. What the hell?
But I don't see her even maybe a couple of times a year. Well, I think I see her at church more frequently than that. But beyond that, I don't typically have discussion with her. But so she's well acquainted. And
What the?
But every juror is just going to have to, who's selected, is just going to have a.
Is this 12 people? One of the 12 people might be an acquaintance of the judge?
Do you think you have opinions?
We don't see each other more than weekly at a church.
But you cannot discard entirely and decide this case solely as you view the evidence in this case.
That would be difficult for me to do.
Once again, you're talking about difficult. Do you think that
I'd be unable to.
Pardon me?
I would be unable to do that.
Do you think that there's others here who are more able to be fair than you?
I believe so.
Okay. Any reason this lady shouldn't be excused? No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Holy shit, guys. See you on Sunday. I want to say a huge thank you to Mike R., who just signed up on my website with the coupon code Felony21. Also, Greg Feingold signing up with the coupon code Elements of Bathrooms. New members 12 and 13. Very much appreciate that. Coupon code right above my head.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. And you are number 33.
Also, sorry, big thank you to The Last Scrap Dragon and Zach Washir, who just signed up via Twitch Prime.
For religious reasons, I firmly believe that thou shalt not kill.
Whoa.
I don't know what else to say. That's my opinion. It's been that way for a year.
That's interesting.
Throughout this whole rioting and everything, I'm petrified most of the time to even go out. I've got an alarm and cameras on my house now, and
Thou shalt not kill. I'm biased, folks.
like I said, thou shalt not kill.
Well, let me, and I understand that, and I don't want to suggest that you should do anything in violation of the religious beliefs that you hold. However, I think most religious faiths accommodate the belief in self-defense, and that's going to be an issue in this case. The state is contending that these crimes were committed. The law provides that self-defense is a defense and that people have the lawful right to defend themselves. I think most religious groups believe that. I think that when, for example, during the attack on Pearl Harbor back in 1941.
Oh my God.
The members of our military, the sailors, were on the ship, and all of a sudden planes come and start shooting at them and dropping bombs on them. You know, I think most religious belief would be that they could morally return fire and try literally to kill those who were attacking them,
Oh my God.
to save their own lives and those of their colleagues. So I want to make sure that those I think that a large segment of the group here, perhaps everybody who's here, would agree with the proposition.
We're
that,
all religious.
Thou shalt not kill.
Oh my God.
But will be open to what moral belief is. But more importantly, because we have secular institutions in this country, in this court here, we are bound by the law of the
Donate
state.
plasma
And
today,
regardless
please.
of your personal beliefs on the subject of the morality of self-defense, if it is self-defense, I'm not saying it is, if it's self-defense, it is our law that the jury is not to convict if the jury believes that the defendant acted in self-defense. And I don't want to get bogged down on that right now, but do you think you can follow our law, whether or not you agree that that should be the law, and that you think that it should be, you should turn the cheek? Do you think that you can follow the law in terms of making your verdict and examine the evidence and decide whether the case is self-defense? Can you do that?
No, I have to follow God's laws.
Okay. Any reason this juror shouldn't be excused? Thank you, ma'am.
Hey, listen, she's being honest. She's being honest, and that's good. I want to say a huge thank you to Lorimer, James Clues, and Alex Creeder for subscribing via Twitch Prime. Jen here has also gifted 2, putting us at 20 already. We also today, we may cover the entire trial depending on how today goes. I want to say thanks to Michael Wells for signing up on my website with the coupon code Elements of Bathrooms, which saves you 69%. Great day to do it. We may even have a second stream tonight. The final rallies in Virginia.
All right, ma'am, would you have raised your hand in answer to any of the questions asked so far?
I have a general and a specific bias.
Okay. With the intensity with which you say it, it sounds like that you're not open to what the evidence shows.
In general, people are jerks, dogs are better, and specifically, my dad's funeral was supposed to be on August 25th that night. We had to reschedule because of everything that was going on.
What's she saying?
Now, nobody here is charged with being disorderly. The actual crimes are very specific, and they're a lot more serious than that. But
She had plans ruined by the riot?
dissent, unlawful behavior, those are not the issues. That's frightening that things were disturbed by people's lives, including something as touching and important as that was destroyed by what happened. But is that something that should
Her dad's
be
funeral.
taken out on
Oof.
somebody involved in this case?
Life's about choices. Choices have consequences. So,
Okay.
obviously,
Yeah, that's not in.
if people had minded their own business and stayed in their own city, then honestly, this wouldn't be going on right now.
Wow.
Okay,
I think she's saying if Rittenhouse hadn't come from Illinois, none of this would have happened.
thank you, ma'am.
She's gone. I mean, she's right. Not an incorrect statement. In the meantime, I do want to say thanks to Otto Pico, who just signed up on my website with the coupon code Elements of Bathrooms. Thank you, Otto. Also, thanks to Mo Bate and Shot X Thomas. Mo Bates and Shot X
Sorry,
Thomas.
would you have raised your hand and answered any of the questions asked so far?
Two witnesses,
A couple of the witnesses? Who are they?
Brandy Valeri.
Oh, Brandy Valeri.
Brandy Valeri, and I think the other one might have been Ellen Lick.
What was it? Okay. Do you, what's the nature of your acquaintanceship with those folks?
Randy Valeri, I worked with her at high school. And Ellen and Kaylin have known her since I was little.
Okay. Has either of them discussed any aspect of this with you? If either of them appeared as a witness in the case, would you judge that person's believability by a different standard
Yes.
from that you'd employ with complete strangers?
Clearly.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to ask that you take seat number 10, is it?
No, I guess she said no. So we're up to, it looks like we're up to 10 out of the 12. So folks, I believe that after the initial 12, then the lawyers get to talk to each of these people.
Number 33.
I just feel that I formed my own opinion already before coming here.
Okay, and you're not, I gather from the comments which have been made, you're not unique in that. The question is, can you put that opinion aside and follow what the evidence shows as opposed to an opinion you have based on what you heard outside the courtroom?
No,
You can't do it?
no.
Any reason this lady shouldn't be excused? Thank you, ma'am.
And off she goes.
Juror number 53.
So I believe we have 2 more jurors, and then I think they would need 2 or 3 alternates, and then we would move on to the next step.
Okay, let's see what we can. All right, ma'am, would you have raised your hand and answered any of the questions asked so far? Okay, thank you. Would you take seat number 33?
Oh,
Let's see if I can get through. Okay, anybody else now with an opinion? Number 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, yeah. I'm sorry. I did not hear what she's saying.
I don't think the mic is on.
the mic's not on, sir.
I thought it was Mr. That's impossible.
Sepha High.
Yes.
Okay. Would you,
She's the one at the moment.
Wow.
you know what? I'm going to take a break now because I just got to pop up that the food is here. And so I'm going to take a break here and I'll discuss this with you in just a minute, if you will. Is there-
Folks, I've got a pastrami on rye with deli mustard that needs some attention in the back.
Now, pizza is here. And so, and I believe it's over in the other building as well. And we're going to take a break. How realistic is it to start at 1 o'clock? Actually, I try to go for quarter to 1, but that's probably pushing it.
I guess that
1
would be
o'clock?
55 minutes.
Yeah, a couple of 1 o'clocks, the competency cases.
1:15. 1:15, we're going to start again. Now, during the break, the pizza's here. If there's a problem with that, see one of the bailiffs and we'll see, I mean a medical problem, not just that you don't like that particular sauce. But,
Guys, please.
and we have a world. Don't talk about the case. You can talk about with the other jurors and that. You can talk, but don't talk with anybody who's not in the jury. But if you talk with other jurors, you can talk about the Packer game. You can talk about the Bears game. You can talk about the Blackhawks haven't won a game yet. You can talk about a lot of other things, but don't talk about anything about the case, anything about the people involved, anything about other jurors. And we'll try to start at 1 o'clock. 1:15. And
Wow.
don't use any electronic equipment. Don't be going online and looking anything up that pertains to the case or might pertain to the case or any news facility.
So it sounds like they're not taking people's phones. It's just sort of the honor system.
And don't communicate with anybody. Don't mention that
You're
you're
going to be eating in the courtroom, Judge?
You're gonna be eating in the courtroom?
Allowed to leave.
they're not allowed to leave. Okay, well, they couldn't. You leave to go to the bathroom. Whatever you do, don't. Make sure you go to the bathroom somewhere other than the courtroom. Well, I should be more specific, I suppose.
What?
But anyway, don't.
Leave the building.
Don't leave the building. Don't talk with anybody not involved. Don't.
What is happening?
Don't go on. Don't be sending messages. You can send. a
Don't
brief
go
message
on that new meta.
about I'll talk to you later, and everything's fine. But don't be discussing the nature of what you're doing here or anything like that, please. And that's you folks in the other building, same thing. And when you return from using,
Please don't use my chambers as a toilet.
you please take the same seat you're in right now. Any questions? All right, bless you all. We'll see you in a little bit.
Bless you. Wow, guys, this is off to a wild, wild start. I don't think Saturday Night Live will be able to do anything about this. I mean, it's, how do you satirize this, right? I mean, it's wild, 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 wild. Please stay with us because they're coming right back in about 50 minutes. Well, a lot of drama going on there. So listen, let's see where to even start. I mean, let me look at some super chats and then I'll give you my thoughts. Bay Photo says sequester the pizza. I read that there was fresh garlic on some of the pizzas and people are furious because they're going to have to sit next to each other. Are you serious? Is the judge insane? How long is he talking about food? Pizza time. Pac-Man, do you plan to cover the Supreme Court case on the Texas abortion law? Probably not. There's just a limit to how much stuff we can do. All the people who want him found guilty are being honest. All the ones who want him set free are lying to get on the jury. Love your show, David. Thanks for the coverage. The trial by Kafka makes 100 times more sense than this. When do they start opening statements? Potentially tomorrow. The judge is whacked out. If he were to get off, do you believe Rittenhouse would be in danger due to the precedent that you can take the law into your own hands? David, sorry, the stream just switched to SNL. What happened with the judge in the church? What a great reminder how unreasonable and illogical the justice system can be. See you at the church, buddy. I've been deep in jury selection multiple times. This is typical in that judges won't give a fast dismissal to anyone without a monologue and a back and forth. Yeah, so a lot of super chats. From the standpoint of this courtroom, the judge is fairly hungry. This judge seems like such an out-of-touch boomer that might even be suffering from dementia. How is he the one judging the trial? Well, remember, the jury will ultimately decide on guilt or innocence. Earlier juror woman basically saying, if the court presents reality rather than Fox News propaganda, I will be mad. Yeah. Essentially, that is more or less what was taking place. Okay. Wow. Let me get caught up on everything that's taking place here. Over on the website, I want to say thanks to Jeremy Desaulnier, who signed up with the coupon code Elements of Bathrooms, which I think, do I have that?
We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers.
I guess I don't have it today, but the coupon code is Elements of Bathrooms on my website. Also want to say thanks to Sheldon Glass, who signed up with the exact same coupon code. We're going to be doing everything we can to do a ton of live coverage this week, in addition to 5 podcasts and 5 bonus shows. Already filmed today's podcast. Already filmed today's bonus show. This is the first stream. Tonight, I plan to stream the final Terry McAuliffe rally. Glenn Youngkin also has a rally tonight. Trump is doing a tele-rally for Glenn Youngkin. I'm planning to stream all of it. Tomorrow, we're going to probably stream day 2 of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And then tomorrow night, we've got a stream with election results. I would really appreciate your support of this additional content that we're doing. The best way is just to go to my website, joinpacman.com, and sign up. The normal prices are very reasonable, but we have a coupon code in case they're not. Elements of Bathrooms saves you 69%. You can also, a few other coupon codes if you prefer. You can use the coupon code Felony21. You can use the coupon code Better21. You can also use the coupon code SADTRUMP.
Surrounded by water, big water, ocean. Apply light and heat to cure. It's not racist at all, no, not at all. Donate plasma today, please. And then I see the disinfectant. Is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or...
Okay. So in any case, in all seriousness, I'll thank everybody who does sign up during today's stream. Very much appreciate everybody who's joining me. And we are standing by for the resumption of the trial. Okay. So people have been saying, hey, David, have you been on a jury? Is it this insane? I was on a jury on the day of my 21st birthday, and I'm glad to talk about it and tell you how it was insane, actually. I want to say thanks to Bill Hubris for the Twitch Prime subscription. Also, welcome and thanks to Hack Fooey, who is a new Twitch Prime subscriber. And I really can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It's a lot. Okay, so here's my jury duty trial, and it was absolutely horrible. It really damaged my impression of the justice system that we have, because when they say a jury of your peers, most people, I hope this isn't offensive, most people are incompetent. Most people are not particularly smart. It doesn't mean they're bad people. They're just busy with their lives or whatever, okay? The trial I was in, I was on jury duty on my 21st birthday. Everybody was telling me, David, sir, you're not going to be picked. They don't want young people. They don't want college students. Say you're in college, they're not going to want you. I said, I hope that's the case. So it's an assault trial. And the facts that we are given are essentially that person A has been charged with assault of person B. Person B, the incident took place at person B's house, and person A went to person B's house. There was an altercation, and person A ended up shoving and punching person B. And we were to decide whether they were guilty of assault. Pretty straightforward. They go through jury selection. I happened to be one of the first 6. It was a 6-person jury, and just nobody said anything. I was like, oh my God, any second they're going to be like, get this kid out of here, get him off. Nobody said anything. I happened to be in the first 6. No real questions were asked other than these questions like, do you know any of the people here, whatever. The one person that was struck from the jury was a police officer who knew the police officer who would be testifying in the case. But otherwise, the first 6 of the first 7 were selected and 2 alternates. Okay. So trial starts rather. There's a few witnesses. There's person B, who's the guy that was punched, right? This is the victim in the case. He testifies. A police officer, who is the police officer that showed up, testifies. There's testimony about the layout, almost like a floor plan of the house where this took place, which is relevant in a moment. There's not really that many facts. I mean, I think that it was probably like a 90-minute trial, and then they send us to deliberate. Now, the crux of the defense was that this was self-defense. The defense's argument was my client, Guy A, the gentleman charged, did punch and shove Guy B, but it was self-defense. Now, at the time, this was in Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, self-defense has a specific legal meaning. It's not self-defense. You can't just say self-defense. It has to be demonstrated to be self-defense. And one of the important aspects of the way that the Self-Defense Statute was read to us at the time was that for it to be valid self-defense, Guy A needed to have no way to just walk away, right? There was no way to avoid the confrontation altogether. In other words, there's a sort of, colloquially speaking, duty to retreat. You can't just choose if someone says, hey, you're a bitch. You can't just go and punch him in the face and say that's self-defense. You have to actually, be afraid, and you must have no other option. And the reason that the floor plan of the house was relevant was that based on the floor plan and everyone's descriptions of where people were standing, Guy A had a front door right behind him. So the question sort of was, is it self-defense if you can just walk out the door, right? Is it self-defense if Guy B comes up and intimidates me and hurls abuse at me or whatever, if I can just walk out the back door and leave, is it still self-defense if I punch the guy? Now, my understanding based on the law was this is guilty of assault. It's not been demonstrated that a punch was an equal force, a use of equal force, because no one's alleging that guy B punched guy A, was intimidating, was getting up in his face, okay. But based on, was it equal force? No. Guy A threw a punch, guy B did not. And for a valid self-defense claim, there must be no simple way to just walk away. Everybody admits the guy was standing in front of the front door, could have turned around, walked away. So I'm thinking that's guilty. It's guilty. It's very clear. I assume everybody is going to be on the same page. We go into the jury room and take sort of like an initial poll to see where people are at. And 4 of the 6 people are saying not guilty. I'm saying guilty. One other guy is saying guilty. Everybody else is saying not guilty. Of the 4 people saying not guilty, 2 had no idea what was going on. You could have told them we're in Thailand right now. They would have been like, oh, okay. They just had no, they weren't able to articulate really any reason why they thought anything. And I was like, oh God, this is already a bad start. But then there were 2 guys who were saying not guilty, who were saying, dude, it's self-defense. It's self-defense. It's self-defense. And myself and the one other guy were saying, whatever your colloquial understanding of self-defense is, we have to go by the instructions from the judge about the requirements for self-defense. One of the self-defense requirements is you have a duty to retreat and there's no simple way to exit. Nobody's contesting that the guy A is standing with a door behind him and could just walk away. There was no crazy aggression from guy B. It was an argument and they kind of got up in each other's faces. So by the definition of self-defense, this couldn't have been self-defense. Therefore, it's guilty. And these 2 guys just go, kind of, country guys, whatever, tough guys, go, no, if somebody came up to you in a bar and did that, you'd punch them and they would be self-defense, man. Like, what do you do with that? They refuse to even engage with the statute as written. They're going by their opinion from colloquial life about what is self-defense. So I think everybody was shocked at how long it was taking to deliberate. The defense attorney, the prosecutor, the judge. And at a certain point, we're essentially deadlocked on a stupid case on my 21st birthday. So we all go back in. We have questions for the judge. And we're almost like at a mistrial. It's crazy. We're almost like as a hung jury. And we go in and there's a request for the self-defense statute to be read again. And you can tell that nobody's expecting this to take so long. The judge is sort of like, okay, I'll read the self-defense statute again. And the prosecutor and the defense attorney, they're all kind of like, what is happening in that room where it's been 2-3 hours and now they're coming for clarifications? Nobody's expecting this to be going on. So we go back into the jury room. And again, me and this one other guy, we say, it's guilty. It does not meet the requirements of self-defense. It's guilty. The 2 people who were just sort of like not guilty but clueless really didn't, they just stuck with not guilty. And then these 2 dudes insist. They're like, no, man, that's self-defense. That's self-defense. You got to stick up for yourself, man. Stuff like this. What ended up happening? Eventually, we got into a discussion about, do we even know that the guy A threw a punch? So this was like, whoa, wait, what's going on here? The discussion went further to where they started saying, these 2 guys started saying, there's really no, other than the victim claiming he got punched, we don't really have evidence that a punch was even thrown because the police officer didn't observe the punch. The police officer showed up after the fact. Guy A didn't testify at all. So we have one assertion that a punch was even thrown, and it's that of the victim. Maybe there was no punch thrown. So at that point, we go back to the judge, and as a jury, we ask the judge, are we to decide the verdict on the basis that the assertion of the punch is true? In other words, was a punch being thrown a part of the facts of the case? Or are we to evaluate whether we even believe that a punch was thrown? And the judge said, it's up to us to determine whether a punch was even thrown. In other words, there was an assertion made by the victim, I got punched. It's up to us to determine whether that's even credible. So at that point, we go back to the jury room. And at that point, even me and this other guy who were like, this is guilty because we can't prove it's self-defense, we all were like, listen, guys, we've been here 6 hours. If we first have to somehow determine whether a punch was even thrown, it's just not guilty. There's now doubt. There's now enough doubt. We don't really have any corroborating witness. We have nothing. Okay. And so then it ended up being not guilty and we all got the hell out of there. But it was crazy. I mean, it was such a simple case that when you start hearing people here saying, I believe this and I believe in the Second Amendment and all these different things, it's like, I just have no trust in the system at all. No trust. That experience just, it's just hard to believe. It's truly hard to believe that's what it is. But it is. It's the system we have. And some people would say it's the best possible system or whatever the case may be. I want to say thank you to Hayden King, who just signed up on my website using the coupon code Felony21. We are trying to get to 100 website members and Twitch subscribers. If you're watching on Twitch, I would love it for you to use your Twitch Prime subscription on my channel. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you get a free Twitch Prime sub every month. You can take $5 out of Bezos's pocket if you want and give them to a streamer, or you can leave them in Jeff Bezos's pocket. It's your call. It's your call. I say use it. Also, sign up on my website because that's the way, Twitch keeps like a lot. If you go to my website, we keep all but 2.9%. You go to joinpacman.com. Normal prices, I think, are really, really good. They directly support our work, including multiple streams today, multiple streams tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. You can use the coupon code Elements of Bathrooms for a 69% discount, which I think is a really great discount. I think it's a really, really good discount. And if you're just joining us, we are about a half hour from jury selection resuming, and it's going to be very interesting to see. I do want to play some voicemails for you guys while we wait here. I also want to look at other super chats. David Wackman says, is it just coincidence you and your Pac-Maniacs have stopped defending Fauci since the story of him torturing dogs? Why admire a liar? I am talking about Anthony Fauci basically as frequently as I ever was, which is roughly once every 3 weeks. I have seen no evidence that Anthony Fauci tortured a dog. Jimmy from Philly says Kyle is an American hero, not guilty. Well, having not heard the evidence, Jimmy, it's shocking to me that such a constitutional conservative would take that position. You look like Jeff Cavalier from Athlean X. Okay, let's see. Jeff Cavalier, Athlean X. Let's see what that means. I look like this guy? This seems weird. I don't really see it, to be honest. Yeah. I don't see it, but I still appreciate the super chat. Earlier juror... Oh, okay, no, we already read that. The manuscript mistakenly cited support from NIAID when, in fact, it did not support that research. No Fauci involved. It's an adjacent bogus study with no NIH involvement. Okay. Very good. So we got that taken care of. I want to say thank you to Kiyoshi K, as well as John Robert Wilson and Cryptochrome for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, numbers 30, 31, and 32. Really appreciate that. Let's get to a couple of other things I have. This is a wacky. Wait a second. Let me see if I can fix this so we can actually see more of it. There we go. Okay, This is a guy who threw himself on the floor the other day because he didn't want to wear a mask. I mean, just behaving like a toddler. Take a look at this. This guy is advocating for freedom. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you about that, but that's pretty humiliating behavior. Thanks to Jeff Builds a Base for subscribing via Twitch Prime. You're number 33 today. Very much appreciate that. And if you're just joining us, it is day one of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. This is the first of 2 streams today. There's going to be another stream tonight. The final rallies in the Virginia gubernatorial race. Terry McAuliffe has a rally. Glenn Youngkin, I believe, has a rally. And Trump is doing a tele-rally for Glenn Youngkin. Now, here's the thing. If anybody can find a stream of Trump's tele-rally, please email info@davidpakman.com because I'm not sure if that's going to be public or not. Bat says, can we please ban La Palma Erupt, please, for his racist jokes? Okay, let me see. Oh, yeah, they're getting banned immediately. Banned. Thank you for calling that to my attention. I appreciate that. This trial is bringing a lot of racists to the channel and other unsavory elements. Jonathan says, I know more well-behaved toddlers. Love your show, David. When the judge says there is to be no communication with the outside world, does that include a TripAdvisor review for the pizza? I think it does. The David Pakman Show company's average employee rating on Glassdoor is lower than Joe Biden's approval rating. Okay, I don't know what that means. But I appreciate the support, that's for sure. Yeah. Thank you to Tay D. Jordan, Ryan Forquay, and Mocash for the Twitch Prime subscriptions, 34, 35, and 36. Appreciate that. Here's the judge. The judge maybe is back from some of his pizza. Let's listen to a few voicemails. I do want to keep working on these voicemails. Let's go to our first voicemail here.
Hey, Becken. So I've been thinking about this Colin Powell story about how he, contracted COVID and died even though it was a breakthrough case, and he had blood cancer, so he was high risk, and yada, yada, yada. I think the real story here is that it's been 6 months since the general population has had access to the vaccine. 6 months. We should have reached herd immunity by now if everyone did what they were supposed to.
Right.
And Colin Powell should never have been exposed to COVID-19.
True.
Which would then kill him.
True.
It should not even have gotten this far. And a lot of these deaths, the majority of them, most likely, could and would have been prevented had people just stopped believing all this propaganda nonsense from Fox News or wherever they're getting it from and gotten vaccinated. It's ridiculous.
Yep. No, that's completely accurate. Completely accurate. Let's see what else we got.
Hey, David. I'm a big fan of the show. I noticed you got blocked by Travis Tritt on Twitter. And I just got to say, you got a real dose of American justice there, David. I can't hide it. I'm ecstatic that you got blocked by the guy. I'm just so happy you got blocked by Travis Tritt on Twitter.
Okay, got it. Yes, you're happy I got blocked. Okay, thank you.
Hey, David. My question's on the Dennis Prager story you did. The problem I have with guys like him, they're going around trying to get COVID, but then they're going to go over there and get this monoclonal stuff and everything like that. These are the people we should not be treating. If they're going to go out there and purposely get the COVID, then why even treat these dumbasses?
All right, that's a position, certainly a position someone can take. I don't disagree with that. Let's see what else we've got here.
Hey, David Pakeman, today you referenced a right-wing talk show host named Dan Bongino.
Yes.
I can only assume that you intentionally mispronounced his name as a show
Yes.
of disdain.
Correct.
Since you usually do a little better job researching your material.
Right. I know his name is not pronounced Dan Bongino.
His name is actually Dan Bongino.
Thank you, sir, for letting me know what the right pronunciation of his name is. Okay.
Hey, David, has it been lost on everybody that Trump's new social media platform is the same name as the official Soviet newspaper? So, hey, there it is. Freedom.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hello. I just wanted to say I don't like you.
What the hell was that? Very, very strange.
Hi, David. Rough town hall for Joe Biden, especially that question, what do you say to somebody who is down and who is watching right now? I would have expected Joe Biden to reply like the last president, who we all know was the greatest president we ever had, possibly a little bit worse than Lincoln, but actually no, about 10 times better than Lincoln, and say, you are a bad reporter.
Yeah, well, it was a person in the audience. You could have attacked a person in the audience, I guess. Yeah, some good and some not so good in that town hall for Joe Biden.
Hi, David. I'm watching your Fox News Desperately Trying to Resurrect War on Christmas video. And when you said Dan Bongino's name as Dan Bongino, I could not stop laughing. That was the funniest either mistake.
All right, well, someone's liking it. All right. Let's see. I think this is from the Eggman.
Hey, Dave. Watching Jim Jordan question Merrick Garland is making me absolutely sick to my stomach. Merrick Garland should just look at him and say, you allowed boys to be raped in a wrestling team, you fucking moron.
Well, okay. All right. Eggman's on fire. We're going to have to get away from that. That we don't want any issue with that. Let's see what else we've got here.
Oh, brother.
Okay.
Hi, David. Do you think Joe Biden really dropped the ball at the town hall last night when he didn't call anyone a bad reporter, ask pandemic advisors about injecting disinfectant, or incite a violent insurrection?
Yeah. There were a lot of those hits that Biden certainly missed. Yeah, that's absolutely for sure. Let's see. Uh-oh.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass. I just got to say about that anti-Semitic shit. I mean, you're really reaching for straws, dude. Think about it. You think people who went against the mafia and wanted to take the mafia down were anti-Italian? I mean, seriously.
Well, that's interesting that you mentioned that. Let me show you a very, very interesting clip, which you might, maybe will change your mind. Okay, let's take a look at this.
My name is Melanie Rettler. I'm a veterinarian. I was a former teacher in Phoenix Union High School District. I'm a cloning expert with 35 years experience, and I was a consultant to the CDC.
Veterinarian, cloning expert, teacher, CDC consultant.
I've owned a pharmacy.
Pharmacy owner.
I want to tell you that this vaccine, this COVID vaccine, is a deadly poison. That's it. I'm just going to tell you that. Everybody that takes it is damaging their immune system, and they're talking about this being given to children now. It's going to destroy them. You need to do more research on it. I'm an expert on it, and I'm telling you, that's what it's doing. All right, the next topic is the CRT. I agree with what both of these people said, but you know what? If you want to talk about racism, if you want to bring it in, then let's bring it in. Let's get to the bottom of.
If you want to talk about racism, she will say something as racist as anything you can imagine 15 seconds from now.
The bottom of it. You're talking about white supremacy. Okay, let's get to the very bottom of it. Every one of these things, the deep state, the cabal, the swamp, the elite, you can't mention it.
Wait for it.
But I will. There is one race that owns all the pharmaceutical companies, and these vaccines aren't safe, they aren't effective, and they aren't free. You know that you're paying for it through the increase in gas prices, the increase in food prices. You're paying for this. And it's being taken from your money and given to.
Is everybody ready? I want to make sure everybody's paying attention now, okay? She's listed shadow deep state, pharmaceutical companies, gas prices. She's about to tell us who's to blame for all of it, okay?
These pharmaceutical companies, and if you want to bring race into this, it's the Jews.
Folks, she has solved every problem known to man. And guys, that is a CDC consultant, pharmacist, cloning expert, veterinarian, expert on vaccines. So it's kind of like a case closed type of situation. Let me see here. We're banning a lot of people. We can barely keep up. Oh, wait a second. This one is unbanned. I accidentally unbanned one wrong person, but now we've banned all the right people. Okay, good. Okay. Wow, it's getting crazy. I want to say thank you to a bunch of people who just signed up via Twitch Prime, including Dog on Mountains, new member number 37 today. Drewish92 is new member number 38. Chad Villarol is new member number 39. Laser Padden is new member number 40. And then over on the website, I can't thank enough Glenn Hughes. Glenn Hughes just signed up at joinpacman.com and is new member number 41 as we await the resumption of this trial. All right, as we stand by, I'm going to step away, refresh my water, maybe grab some almonds, and then I'll be back with everybody very, very soon. Stand by. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are trying to keep up with banning all the people we need to ban on both Twitch and YouTube. Mostly YouTube is where the toxicity is today, although that can really vary from day to day. Just getting our super chats adjusted here a little bit. I apologize to anybody offended by the vile and disgusting things that are going on. But we're going to just keep ban hammering them as much as we can. I want to say thank you to Amethyst for subscribing via Twitch Prime. Your new member number 42 today. Very much appreciate that. We are about 15 to 20-ish minutes from the resumption of day one of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. I am going to... okay, hold on. We got to keep banning people. Just keep banning the moderators, please. Keep banning them. This is jury selection today, so they got a bunch of it done in terms of just initial people where the judge says this person probably shouldn't be on the jury, or the jury, as some say. The next step will be that the prosecutors and defense attorneys will get to ask their questions of the potential jurors. And in terms of when testimony, opening statements will start, it could be tomorrow, but tomorrow might include jury selection as well. So all we can do is wait and monitor. We are going to be streaming tonight as well the final rallies in the Virginia gubernatorial race, and then tomorrow night we'll be streaming live results as well as a stream tomorrow with day 2 of the trial. So a lot of streaming, and I really appreciate everybody who's here and everybody who's watching. I think there's going to be a lot of very, very important things taking place. Let's look at some super chats. Mr. Packman, sir, love your bigly strong moderation. I appreciate that. On the Stained Apron website, David is described as a poor tipper. The entry reads, spent most of his time in the bathroom with his guy friend and ordered a lot but didn't eat a thing, tipped about 5%. So I'm mixed on this David Wackman person because they say horrible things, but at the same time, they've spent probably $100 sending super chats, which then just helps our influence grow. So I kind of am inclined to let him do it. Jose says, how would he treat a BLM supporting juror? Good question. Swami Live says, one might say that lady is giga cringe. Giga cringe. A few more people to ban. Yeah, it's crazy how many people we're having to ban. Folks, almost choked. Thank you to Tyler Young, who just sent a $100 super chat, by far the biggest today, and thanking the troll David Wackman, or Wackman, for influencing Tyler to want to send $100. Wow. That's got to piss off the trolls. That is something else. Okay. Let's do a few more of the, we got interrupted with voicemails, but let's go back to it. We do have some from Whitney, who we haven't heard from at all today.
So I was wondering about what you said about Obama being Muslim, and I don't think that there should be like rules or regulations on religious.
Yeah, there aren't. You're allowed to be Muslim and be president.
Like about 5 years ago, I was remembering like some of my friends went out to Colorado from Vermont. I was like, whoa, this is exactly like Vermont, just like really bland, like suburban area.
All right, then back to Eric from Mass.
Hey, David, this is Eric from Mass. I'm giving you permission to use this as an intro if you'd like, or part of your show. Okay, ready? Welcome to the David Packman Show, brought to you by Pfizer, Merck, and Moderna. And now, here's the man with the plan, the host with the most. He is the best political broadcaster on the internet, David
David Pacman.
Obama.
Okay. Let's keep going. All right. Obviously, if we were funded by those companies, we would disclose that. Want to make sure people know that.
Dave, as you know, I live in Western New York. I call it West Virginia, New York, because most people here think they live in the South. They fly Confederate flags or Dale Earnhardt flags. It's just absolutely racist. And they all deny they are. But let me ask you this question. These are the signs I see that bother me so much, okay, in people's yards. Biden likes minors. I see that all over. And now I see unvaccinated lives matter. Dave, is the latter of those two racist? I mean, of course it is, right? And then Biden likes minors. How many times has Trump been accused of all these assaults? It's absolutely insane. So anyway, Dave, I'm surrounded by all these people that are escaped from reality, and I want to move. I want to leave West Virginia, New York. I freaking hate the people around me.
Yeah.
What part of America can I go to where I don't find these people all around me? P.S. I can't afford to live in Boulder, Colorado, or Eugene, Oregon. I've already lived there, but in a bus, not in a real house.
Well, where could the Eggman go? Liberal places that are not super expensive. What are some ideas for the Eggman? Not super expensive. I mean, I guess it depends on how expensive. There are parts of lots of states that aren't, like, there are parts of North Carolina that aren't conservative, although I think they're expensive parts. Oregon, as some say. Washington State, parts of Michigan, Minnesota. Yeah, I mean, there really are a lot of possibilities for the Eggman. That's true. All right, let's move on and look at a couple others.
Hey, David. My name's Sean from Virginia, and I was looking at a YouTube short a few days ago, and the guy said a really cool quote that I thought your audience might be interested in. And so the quote is about anti-vaxxers and what you can say to them and what they believe. So it's, you're looking for random facts to support the conclusion you've already drawn, rather than drawing a conclusion. Jesus Christ. Cut that.
Okay, all right, we're cutting it. Let's see what else we've got here. Another one from Wit.
So, I had like some of the misfortune meeting like a lawyer that works with like mainly Jewish people.
Okay, that sounds like a bad experience, Wit.
But like one of the things that I worry about with like the Jewish community is like the amount of like disconnect they have with like our dating circle and like what's
Oh man.
kosher with society and what's not. Because I feel like there's a lot of like blowing smoke up their asses as far as like when it comes to, you know, what they can have and what they can't have, and just like how reciprocal like the relationship between like the Jewish people and just like other people that are not Jewish, like in their relationship to like society. I feel like it's getting kind of like, you know, there's a definitely like warped sense of like authority where it's
I don't know what she's talking about, guys. I really, really don't. I just have no idea.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass again. How you doing, buddy? Let's see. Let's run it down. Let's see. Natural immunity. Oops. Ivermectin. Oops. Russiagate. Oops.
Is he having a medical event? He then called it back immediately.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass. I want to read a tweet from you. Not from you, to you, from a doctor. Remember, believe all doctors. Dr. Adam N. Evit.
Okay. Yeah, keep working on that, my friend.
Hey, David, this is Justin from Maryland. Recently watching one of your competitors' shows yesterday, the majority before them. Not sure if you heard of them. they're slightly lower than you on the subscriber side. But the main guy there, his name's Peter. I'm just curious because he was, I know doxing isn't the right word, but calling you out with the fact, trying to say that you're only working 4 days a week, so that, as a big surprise, because now that means he can work 4 days a week. So not really too sure why he based his schedule off of you.
Is that true? Did Sam do a thing about how I only work 4 days a week? I would like to see that. That was from Thursday. Does anybody know if that's true? If anybody could get me that, I would be interested in that. Anybody know if that's legit? Sam saying, why does he have to work 5 days if I only work 4? Sam who takes Thursdays off. Sam only works 4. Oh, okay, yeah. Anyway, if that's real, I'm not going to spend time just reading chat about it. Send it to me, info@davidpakman.com. We're moments away from the resumption here. I want to welcome everybody who's joining me. This is day 1 of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. We are in the middle of jury selection. Right now, the potential jurors are getting pizza. They're having pizza there in the courtroom. They have also been warned by the judge, do not go to the bathroom in the courtroom. Go out and go to a restroom. That's not a joke. The judge did mention that to people. I want to say a huge thank you to Jason and Kayla Bailey. They just signed up for a perfect year membership on my website using the coupon code Elements of Bathrooms. And together they represent new member number 43 today. Also want to say thank you to Rosas de Oro, or it could be said Rosas de Oro, which would be gold roses in Spanish, for the Twitch Prime subscription, number 44 today. Very much appreciate that. Today is really, we are actually, I am sort of committing to November being Mustache November. That's number 1. But number 2, Power Stream November, where we are looking to do more streams in a month than there have been in a really long time. Today alone, getting off to a strong start, November 1st, 2 streams today. We have the Kyle Rittenhouse stream right now, and then later tonight, I will be streaming the final rallies in the Virginia gubernatorial. Tomorrow, there will be more streams. We will have day 2 of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and then Virginia election results tomorrow night, as well as New Jersey, a bunch of mayoral results, and a whole bunch of different things. So I would love it for you to support the work that I'm doing. Sign up on my website, joinpakman.com. All of these other different platforms, they want to take slices. They want to take slices. You get a YouTube super chat. You get a Twitch Prime subscription. You get Patreon. You get Patreon. All these different things. They want slices, 2, 5, 6, 7, 10%. Should be illegal, but it's not. But on my website, we keep everything but the 2.9% that we pay to process credit cards. So I very much appreciate everybody who signed up today. Joinpakman.com is the place to go. Here's an additional incentive. Wherever we get to by the end of today's stream, with whatever number, when tonight's stream starts, we won't go back to 0. We'll start at the same number. So then we'll almost certainly get to 100 open phone lines tonight and have a real party. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be really, really great. Let's listen to a few other super chats here. I'm sorry, voicemails.
Hey, David, it's Eric from Mass again. I just got to compliment you, man. What you're doing is really working. Calling people stupid and uneducated and fools and dummies.
Thank you.
I think that's really going to work. I think next you should advocate for people just getting dragged out of their house and having the vaccine given to them while they get held down by 6 people. You know, stuff like that is really working in your favor, and you should.
Yeah, I would never advocate for that. I've never done anything even close to that. I can't imagine why anybody would even suggest that.
Hi, it's Whitney Gerbode. I was actually really interested in like sharing stuff about like our heritage and DNA and stuff like that. It's like one of the upsides I felt like was not really taking Trump like that seriously, just because I was like, oh yeah, like what about like my cultural background or the people who, you know, were in my family have to do with like what's going on with my life today. Just
What?
like historically, I feel like it's interesting. Like if you didn't take it seriously, or if you feel like, you know, maybe the bullying wasn't like that serious, even though I really do think it is. But now that it's out in the open, I feel like, you know, like brave is the best way to be, and like as open up front, because I do feel like when things are like hiding underneath.
Okay. Next voicemail.
Hey, David. Albert Einstein said, coincidences are just God's way of staying anonymous. Well, I'm going to give you a coincidence. You can call up Jesse Dollimore and ask him this, but I emailed him a copy of the Declaration and the Constitution signed by me, because you can do that online, by the way. You can sign it and print it out all you want. And I sent it into the president and said, I want to declare independence from MAGA savages. You know, read the part about insurrections, or watch Jesse's video about Marjorie Taylor Greene and her attempt to understand what the Declaration meant when she totally failed and completely doesn't understand what it means. And actually...
Okay, I don't know what on earth that's about, but it's really, really wacky. I want to say thank you to people dumping in memberships on my website. Marvin Rash just signed up using the coupon code Elements of Bathrooms. Joshua Phillips is a new member on my website using the coupon code Felony21. Kenneth Alexanderson just signed up using the coupon code Felony21. And Odd Ivar Stenberg just signed up using the coupon code Elements of Bathrooms. A crazy dump of memberships.
Big, massive dumps. And what happened, if you watched the election, I was called by the biggest people saying, congratulations, political people. Congratulations, sir, you just won the election. It was 10 o'clock, and you looked at the numbers, and I'm sure you felt that way. This election was over, and then they did dumps. They call them dumps, big, massive dumps.
Exactly. And those happening on the happening on the website as we speak. Let's see if we've got a couple more voicemails. Same guy called back. I don't know if he's making any more sense.
So just so you know, David, I just handed you the solution to gravity, by the way. You
The
might not know
solution.
it,
I didn't know gravity was a problem we were trying to solve.
but there's a black hole at the center of every atom, which is why we can't see it. We're not supposed to. If there's a black hole at the center of every atom, that means there's a wormhole at the center of every atom. What are you made up of? Wormholes? Well, you're made up of atoms, which have wormholes hidden at the center, but if you dig a little deeper into what that means, I can tell you that Einstein did not find the atomic bomb. We made the atomic bomb from an equation that was meant for something else.
Right.
E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass. Light is energy. So if you take energy and stick it into your eyes, well, you make matter. It's called
Right.
gray matter. You know, gray, aliens. You think that's a coincidence, David?
Not at all.
You think light turning into matter is not real? They did it. They even turned matter into light just recently.
Not at all.
Which I didn't, I knew it was possible, but I didn't know if they do it.
Uh-huh.
Cephahide.
Yeah. So that happened. I want to say thank you to Alex Creeder for gifting a subscription on Twitch. I also want to say thanks to David Slivens for signing up via Twitch Prime. You are number 50. Number 50. Very, very much appreciate that, as well as everybody who signed up on my website. We're just a few minutes from the resumption of the trial. Let's see if we can get a couple of other voicemails in here. Some very, very interesting things.
Hi, David. This is Raina, and I actually have something funny that is in follow-up to your broadcast about how Pete Buttigieg was being mocked for taking family leave, and about how Joe Rogan and some others were saying that it should be reserved for the women in their relationship.
Yeah.
So when I had my last child, my husband, who he has actually retired Air Force now, he was actually deployed at the time that I had my baby, my last baby, 6 years ago. And he actually was offered family leave while he was away from home. He was halfway across the world in Qatar, And
Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah, no, leave is very, very important. That's for sure. Let's see what else we've got here. Other messages coming in.
Hi, Mr. Pagman. You ever think that maybe going at the anti-vax guys, the way they come at us, you people, like, hey, you know what? Don't get the vaccine. You don't want it? You're going to die. Go ahead, you know? Prove it to yourself. Because they always gang up like bullies. And they try to dominate all the time. So if you change it around a bit, I mean, nobody wants anybody to die, but you can't. Like, I was listening to the T. I'm sorry I'm going off track here.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on to the next voicemail.
Hey, David. This is Mike from Daytona Beach, Florida. I've called a few times. I've heard you talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and I know your standing. And I don't know if you've talked about some of the meme coins like Doge or Shiba.
Highly mimetic. It's not Shiva. It's Shiba Inu. But Shiva is something else.
They just seem to me be making a lot of news lately. Just wondering if you had any thoughts on that. And, of course, I don't expect you to put out any investing advice.
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, for someone to say that it's illegitimate to make money from a meme coin, if there's no crime being committed, and it's not against the law, I don't really know what the argument is. Like, just, it's kind of stupid, but like a lot of aspects of the financial system are kind of stupid. I have said before, I bought a bunch of Doge a long time ago. I have not purchased any Shiba, but I did buy some Shiba Inu a while ago. And it's a tiny percentage of my crypto assets, and my crypto assets are a tiny percentage of my overall assets because it's highly risky and speculative. But that's what it is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. There's like, what could I possibly say about it? Yeah. I want to say a huge thank you to Edward Heath, who just signed up on my website using the coupon code Elements of Bathrooms and is new member number 51 today. Also, Jose Godoy is new member number 52 today, who signed up on my website using the coupon code Felony21. It's such a highly discounted membership. Some attorneys general believe it should be a felony. And lastly, thank you and welcome to Colleen Swain, who is new member number 53 today on my website. Whatever number we get to here, even if it's not 100, it will carry over to the second stream, which I'm doing tonight, with the final rallies before tomorrow's elections. And I think that will give us a really big leg up in terms of making it to 100. Also, Gold Hand has just thrown a Twitch subscription my way, which I couldn't possibly appreciate anymore. We are 4 minutes from the resumption of jury selection in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. There's a lot going on here.
Hey, Pac-Man, what do you think of the Jewish women in regards to like feminism? Like, how does that like apply to in the Jewish world? Like, I noticed that like Benjamin is Jewish but not Hebrew, but he seems to have like different morals and values.
Who? Benjamin? What did you talk about? Benjamin is Jewish but not Hebrew. What does that mean?
Like more like traditional like Christian values than I've seen most Jewish people have. And my mom has like really red hair and like the same shaped nose as you.
Okay, and we're moving on to the next voicemail.
Hey, David, long-time listener, first-time caller. I tried to leave you a message before, and it went on too long, so I'm going to try to make this one shorter. In reference to your video about if progressives should tank the bill, while I certainly understand where you're coming from about for the message and for the messaging of it, why possibly progressives should tank it to make a point, I don't think that would be a good idea. I think that if the progressives are taking it, almost certainly nothing will get passed the media will blame progressives.
Yeah, I have an update on this today on the basis of some things that Bernie Sanders said over the weekend. So check out my podcast today because I address this issue of kill the bill or not. Very, very important.
But I just feel like after a while about like maybe having excuses like, oh, like this is due to the Holocaust and this is due to the Holocaust. There's so many like Holocausts that it's hard to like move on from like the standpoint of like you know, trying to relate to like the Jewish community leaving.
It's not racist at all, no.
All right, we're going to move on. Let's get to some super chats. Bayphoto says the judge wants the jury to understand elements of bathrooms. Just in case anyone wants to play along, says Tyler Young. I have gotten logical fallacy bingo 3 times already from these voicemails. Yes, no shortage of logical fallacies in the voicemails today. I want to say thanks to Justin Watson. Justin just signed up on my website using the coupon code Elements of Bathrooms, as we are just moments now from the trial resuming. As I mentioned, I can be here until close to 3 p.m. Eastern time. Then we've got some business calls, and then I'll be back for another stream tonight. Let's see what else we've got as far as voicemails go.
Hi, my name's Chelsea. I just heard an interview with a man who said he was just done with the conservatives, and that's how I feel. And I feel though every day my mind is blown by what these people believe.
Right.
And I truly don't think that some of these people will come back to reality.
Right.
If that's true, some of these people are Republicans. What are the Republicans going to look like in 2024?
Yes, we don't know the answer to that. It's a good question. Today is like the wildest voicemail day we've had in a really long time. It's been a long time since we had voicemails this crazy. Let me even see what we've got here. Lot of wacky voicemails. Let's see. I actually just misplaced a couple. Here we go. We only have a few minutes left, but I'll see if I can get to a couple others.
Hi, David. This is Miles from Arizona. I'm been a major fan of your show for a while, maybe 4 years since 2016 election. I just have a question about really the future of the progressive movement. Ever since Nina Turner lost, we've kind of been in a state of disarray, and I would appreciate if you could give your 2 cents on.
Yeah, I did a big piece when Nina Turner lost. I actually didn't think Nina Turner losing gave us any more information, in the sense that I had already said the 2020 Democratic primary shows us that what's popular on the left on Twitter and Reddit is not necessarily representative of the Democratic establishment, I guess I would say, or how the left is placed on the political spectrum. I've talked about that a lot, and they said Nina Turner, not Tina Turner. Yeah, no, I've laid it out in a number of different segments, which I think are important, and a topic that we're going to keep talking about clearly.
Hey, David, Jason calling from Albuquerque. Hey, so I was thinking, the vaccine is so widely available in the United States, and the number of people who are actually getting it seems to be plateauing.
Yes.
So it seems to me that, whoever isn't vaccinated at this point probably just doesn't want to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
Seems like it's their prerogative. I don't know what we're supposed to do about that, but, there's a big win, I think, right now for labor markets, because of what's been going on. And, everywhere you look, there are companies advertising, hiring, starting at, $14, $15, $16 an hour. At least that's my anecdotal experience here in Albuquerque. And it seems like that's a win that we should take. And I'm just wondering what you think. When is enough for the unemployment expansion and the eviction moratorium?
Well, the unemployment expansion is actually already over. So I think the labor market issue, I don't think we're going to have a real sense of where the labor market's going to shake out until we get past this winter and see how COVID's doing and fully let the enhanced unemployment kind of like shake out. I think maybe March is when we'll start to get a better sense of it. That's my expectation. That's my prediction. But, I don't know for sure.
Hi, David. Leslie from Arizona. I saw your show the other day with Mike Lindell, and I was really surprised that you would have him on your show. I think it's a terrible waste of time.
Yeah, some people were angry that I did that. I thought it was absolutely delightful satire. He didn't even realize it. It was a good time. It brought a lot of new people into our universe. I thought it was not a waste of time. I thought it was extraordinarily worth doing. Just as a reminder, I did interview Mike Pillow. A lot of people might not remember that. Let's just look at a little bit of it. Mike Lindell. I thought that this was super funny. Where is it? Mike Lindell. I can't even find it on my own channel, if you can imagine that. And this is about to get going again. Oh, let's see. I guess we're back on.
To a seat that doesn't have arms, so that's more conducive to her situation. And we're going to continue with the examination. I think the last thing that happened, we need to fill seat number 33. Correct. And there was an intervening call-up, which was which number was she? The lady whom I excused because of the hospice?
She was number 53.
53. And she was excused by mutual consent because of a family situation. So let's ask 54 to come up. And oh, yes, thank you. Yes. Ma'am, would you have answered yes to any of the questions asked so far? Thank you very much. Would you take 33? And then there was one of the jurors, I would understand number 6, I think. 6. First, let's start with 6 in the back row. Did you say that you were unable to hear what's going on, ma'am? No? What did I do wrong?
59.
Oh, I was close. 59? Where's 59? 59.
She said she had a hard time hearing.
Hard time hearing? And, all right, I guess what I was told was that you said that you're only hearing about 25% of what's been said? Okay, any reason this lady shouldn't be excused? Because we can't replicate that now. No. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, and thanks for letting us know. Anybody else who hasn't heard things?
Wow.
She should get a lot of no. Okay.
Okay. And then there was number 16, I think you are? Yes, 16, what's up? Well, we'll start with that one. You missed some of what was said this morning? Yeah. Okay. Any reason this gentleman shouldn't be excused? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, so we need to replace number 16. Number 55. Again, if you can't hear, please let us know. And also, we have these devices here. And is anybody actively using one right now? Anybody want to endorse this product?
I do want to say thanks to Catch Me Later and Gordon Z. Hall, 2 new Twitch Prime subscribers. Really appreciate that. And welcome back, everybody.
Certified, you just heard him. He's a state certified language interpreter. And this is the highest echelon. And he can translate not only flawlessly between English and Spanish, which isn't as easy as you'd think because there's things like idioms. Well, I tried to present that proposition, but I struck out. Now, if you translate that literally, it could become a baseball term, but it has nothing to do with it. You presented a proposition in front of the Board of Inquiry, and
say more.
You lost. So there's, and I could give a better example. You could too. But these are people at the highest level, and they can actually do it contemporaneously while I'm speaking English. He can move it into Spanish for that gentleman. So, and he uses them all the time. And he's not even hard of hearing, but it improves his ability to hear it. So
He's using it for fun, essentially.
so if you want one of these, and I've got this poor lady standing here, would you have answered yes to any of the questions asked so far? Bless you, and move into.
The judge does seem eccentric, right? I mean, at minimum, we can't. I don't want to say he's nuts, but he seems eccentric.
Not new. She was in the original group. They have not yet been sworn. Right. When we start with them, we'll have to swear them. But she's been sworn. You were sworn. You were here in the
No, sir. She's been swearing the entire time. I want to say thanks to Yapern for subscribing via Twitch Prime. Coupon code Elements of Bathrooms working on joinpacman.com.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, now we're all of our seats are filled. So, anybody else now with has expressed an opinion as to the innocence or guilt of the defendant? Okay, now let me ask, is there any one of you who cannot or will not try this case fairly and impartially on the evidence given in the court here today and guided by my instructions regarding our law, reach a just and true verdict? Anybody who will be unable to do that? Is there any one of you who cannot read, speak, and understand the English language?
Oh boy.
Anybody who does not reside in Kenosha County? Number 5, what's up?
I live in Chicago. I just recently moved.
Really? You were living here and now you've moved to Chicago?
Yeah.
All right. Now you're registered to vote?
Yeah.
You have a driving license?
I have a driving license.
From?
From Kenosha.
Okay. Now you're legally living full-time in Illinois?
Yes.
Okay, and that's your intent to remain there?
Yes, it is.
Any reason this lady shouldn't be excused? Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right, and there she
I'm gonna
goes.
Excuse you, and no letter on that. Number 56.
Here we go. 56 was about to be out of this, and now 56 might be in.
All right, sir, would you have raised your hand and answer to yes, you would?
Yeah.
Can you let us know?
Yeah, just loose ties to 2 of the witnesses that were listed.
Okay.
First one, he was in the first set of 10 people. Officer Jason Krieger. His wife goes to the same church that I go to.
Okay. And?
We've never disclosed or talked about any details of the case.
Okay, fine. And who was the other?
Second one was Hannah Giddings. Her parents also go to the same church. And we've never talked about any details of the case.
Okay. Do you have any other reason why you would have raised your hand?
Nope.
Thank you. Would you take seat number 5, please?
Wow, and just like that. Thanks to Hey Hey Helen for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate it.
All right. Anybody else who does not reside in Kenosha County? Anyone who is unable to read, speak, and understand the English language? I guess it's a little late for that, but I'll ask anyway. In fact, I have to ask. Is there anyone who's taking medication at this time which could cause drowsiness or impair reasoning power or judgment? Okay, the only medication that could cause drowsiness, impair your reasoning power or your judgment, what's up?
It's the migraine medication.
The migraine medication. And migraine medication, it's number 15.
The migraine medication.
And
so if I were to get a migraine in court and I were to take the rescue medication, as they call it, it would make me drowsy.
okay, now I will tell you, it depends on how drowsy, because there are some lawyers. You wouldn't need any narcotics to put. They wouldn't take any narcotics
Dear God.
to put you to sleep.
At that point, I would definitely go to sleep.
If they were talking, you'd go to sleep.
Yes.
So it's that pronounced.
Yes.
Okay. And you're on the medication at this time?
Yeah.
Or if you took it?
If I took it.
If you got a headache, you would?
I would take it.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm going to leave that for examination by the lawyers. And I think, too, we've got spellbinders here. These are not the run-of-the-mill lawyer.
I want to say thank you to Alex Creeder for gifting a subscription. Appreciate that, Alex.
Anybody else on the medication issue? Anybody feeling ill today? Oh, there's another hand on medication?
It's interesting to see this process, quite frankly.
I don't hear you, ma'am. I don't hear you. I'm not hearing you.
I'm number 39.
39, and what were you saying?
Yeah, there's different medication that I take that give me different symptoms that I don't want to discuss.
Oh, no, then you don't have to. The question is it likely to cause you to become sleepy? Is it guaranteed to cause you to become sleepy?
No.
Will it interfere with your reasoning power or your judgment?
I don't.
Okay. Now, we do keep an eye, believe it or not, on the jurors to make sure nobody's nodding off. It can happen. And also, if somebody feels that coming on, don't hesitate to let us know, because we can take a break. If it's only involving 5 minutes or maybe a little longer,
5,
and we can deal with that. Or if it's persistent, we might ask you to do 50 push-ups here. Well, all right. We will.
Jeez.
We want to make sure everybody can.
The judge is behaving strangely, right? Am I off on? Is this? Can anyone tell me the judge is behaving perfectly normally?
Or just having something that causes you to have to take medication. We try not to excuse people unless it's going to be an interference. So we're going to hope for the best. And if you become drowsy or something, just let us know. Or if you need a bathroom break, something like that, just get the attention of me, the clerk, or one of the bailiffs, and we'll take time that's necessary.
Let's go like this.
Any question about that? You've been very cordial and kind with me, and I'm done, finally. So let's turn to the prosecution and Mr. Binger.
So now the attorneys get an opportunity to ask questions and see if they want to strike any of these potential jurors.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was taken care of.
No, they weren't here.
Oh, would you attorneys just go speak with Sergeant Beth for a moment? There was an issue that came up that we need to...
So there's going to be a brief side conversation there. We are going to be streaming this for about another half hour. Then I've got to run to some meetings, but I may leave it just running so we can see what's going on. Then I can come back. Tonight, we've got another stream, really powerful stream, the last of the Virginia gubernatorial rallies. We are going to continue. We're at 60 members. We hope to open phones today. We're going to continue into the second stream, so we're not going to go back to 0. So I invite you to go to my website, joinpacman.com. Take advantage of this coupon code, Elements of Bathrooms. It'll save you a bundle. Let's listen. Okay, they're still doing nothing there. Super chats coming in. Tyler says this is on par for managing jurors. Scott says, I think this line of questioning is infringing on all of our HIPAAs. Tyler says, confirm the lawyers are spellbinders. Wow. Very, very interesting commentary from people in the audience today. And it is really, really something. Yeah, there is a Don Rickles sort of vibe to the judge, although I think Don Rickles was much more clever, much funnier, and had a much stronger sense of comedic timing, quite frankly. Much, much more so. Yeah. I don't know how long it's expected to go. Generally they say a couple of weeks. It really... It depends on so many things. Let's see if there was an update from this morning. Few weeks is what I heard. 2 to 3 weeks is still what they're saying, yeah. 2 to 3 weeks. James says, I know the judge personally. I used to date his daughter for about 2 years. This odd behavior is super normal for him. Oh, man, that's funny. Swaggy says, the judge has been looking too closely at sinks and showers. I think I have that.
We're looking very strongly at sinks and showers.
Exactly. The judge reportedly does not like toilets being flushed 10 to 15 times, though. That we know.
Stand back and stand by.
Yep. Not something that the judge likes in his chambers. Let's put it that way. How long will this go? Okay, so my belief is they're going to attorney questions for jurors right now. Prosecution goes first, then defense. It's at the speed at which this is going, and given the fact that it's already
Recently over from the other building.
Okay.
Is there any one of you who has a religious or moral objection to the taking of an oath? Okay, would you all please raise your one of your hands to signify your acceptance of the oath?
Either hand.
Do you and each of you swear you will truly answer as made to such questions put you in regards to your competency to sit as a juror in this action where the state of Wisconsin is plaintiff and Kyle Rittenhouse is defendant, so help you God?
Okay, thank you. All right, and then did you folks resolve that issue?
Okay. Still in negotiation over this issue. I want to say thank you to Tim Leonard. Tim just signed up on my website, joinpacman.com. Tim, we love you here. We really do. So appreciate your support very, very much. Unclear what this issue is or could be. Could be anything, quite frankly. Could be anything. Cryptic.
Number 57. 57. Wait, I'm going to excuse you, sir. You're excused, and call the. Yeah, you're going to get a letter about future jury service. Okay, thank you, sir.
Wow.
The clerk is going to give you, the bailiff is going to give you a letter. Thank you, sir.
The bailiff's very active today.
We don't need a number, do we? We're full. Okay, Mr. Binger, it's all yours.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tom Binger. I'm one of the prosecutors on the case here, representing the state of Wisconsin. The judge has given you a little bit of information regarding the circumstances surrounding this case, and I just want to ask a few questions regarding the events surrounding the night of August 25th, 2020, and that time.
Hopefully they'll zoom out and actually show us the prosecutor. If not, I'm going to keep an eye out for other streams. If someone knows of a better stream, although this may be the only camera, we just don't know right now.
The name of Jacob Blake. There were a series of responses here in our community, which can be labeled a number of different ways. But in generally, we had a lot of people that came out onto the streets protesting. There were riots.
Every stream seems to be just this camera, so we're at the mercy of the court, I guess, that they control this camera.
To which side or which beliefs were right or wrong or anything like that. There are constitutional rights to assemble and speech, etc. What I just want to ask is, how many of you came out physically on any of those nights to participate in any of those activities? To protest, to show your support for any particular cause, anything along those lines? I'm not seeing any hands. How many of you have any close friends or family members who came out on any of those nights to participate in any of those events? Maybe to march, maybe to protest, maybe to support one side, one cause, one belief or the other. And again, I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot about what your beliefs are. I just need to know if there was any participation. So let's start, and I'm going to do my best to refer to everybody's numbers here, but I got to admit we've changed numbers so many times that I'm not sure I'm going to get them all right.
This should be interesting.
In the back row there, you are in seat number 6. I think you are actually juror number 39. Is that right? Okay. Either way, I think we know who you are. You're raising your hand. Can you tell me a little bit about that, please?
My husband and I, we have a 5-year-old granddaughter.
The audio. Get a mic on her.
Yes.
Please.
And there was one incident, and it was kind of later on when they did a march from the YMCA down and everything like that.
Who here was rioting in the streets that night? Very well done. First time chat from 1,000 wigs and a very, very good chat.
Why, Mr. President?
participate but was not allowed to? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
but we wanted to. She has, you know.
Oh, I think she's crying.
Cards that are living with, you know, white grandparents and still feeling her card. And this is something that we allowed to do with another group of family members and that. And it was kind of a trying time at that time for us to balance the perspective.
Okay. So I just want to follow up. So your granddaughter did participate in some of the marching or protests, things like that?
Right, but it was later on.
Okay.
Right at the beginning.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything about your granddaughter's involvement in that that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror in this case?
A little bit, I'm sorry.
Okay.
A little bit.
All right. Now, I think the judge has already kind of gone through the whole discussion of how we're going to be hearing testimony and evidence in this case, and only at the end of that and hearing the instructions from the judges to the law, will the jury be in a position to make a decision here? Do you think that you'll be able to keep an open mind, listen to all of the evidence and testimony, follow the judge's instructions, and only make your decision at the end of the case? You don't know?
I don't think so.
You don't think you'll be able to keep an open mind throughout?
No.
Okay. Do you feel, to use one of the judge's questions, do you feel that you're not going to be as fair as some of the other jurors that are sitting around you?
Yeah.
You feel that way? Okay. Your Honor, I don't know that this juror can be fair, so I think it would be appropriate to strike her for cause.
Mr. Richards? Mr. Shropsy?
I have no objection to that.
All right, thank you, ma'am. And you'll get a note from the bailiff.
You're excused, ma'am.
Let's ask number 58 to come up, please.
Thank you to Lawful Waffle and Daryl Saurus Rex for the
58,
Twitch
please.
Prime subs.
All right, sir, would you have raised your hand and answered to any of the question asked so far?
I've expressed views.
Okay. Are you able to shed those views and decide the case exclusively as you hear and see the evidence in this case?
Yes.
Okay. You may be examined further about it, but thank you. Please take seat number 6.
Thanks to Manoa Smith for the website subscription.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. I had asked a question about whether or not you had friends, close friends or family members that had participated in any of the events here in Kenosha, and we already spoke to one of the jurors. I know there were a few other hands that I missed, so if you could just raise your hands again so I get everybody. Okay, in the front row here, I think you are juror number 23?
Yes.
Okay.
My son went down there.
Wow.
But without incident, so it's not going to affect me.
Sure.
Letting you know he was there.
Was that on the Tuesday night, August 25th, when the incident in this case occurred, or was it a different night? Do you remember?
I honestly do not know. There were a couple things that he went down there to check things out, and I don't know which specifically.
Okay. Thank you very much. Did you have your hand up, ma'am?
I did.
Okay. You're seated, for the record, you're seated in juror 24, but I think you're juror number 40. Is that right?
That's
Okay.
correct. Just some friends from church did a church service out there.
Okay. Out front of where? Oh, okay. Do you remember what night that would have been?
No, I think it was later on.
Okay. Did you participate in that at all?
No.
Okay. Would that affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror here? Okay. Thank you. Was there anyone else's? Okay. Juror number 29.
I'm not quite sure if you're just referring to the evening or during the days of those events.
At any time.
So
Yeah.
I mean, when boarding up the buildings downtown and uptown.
You personally were?
Yes.
Okay. Were those businesses that you knew, like the owners, or were involved with in any way, or just?
But the owners as we were helping build up, or board up, sorry.
Okay. Is there anything about that that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror in this case? Okay, thank you. Anyone else's hands that I missed? Okay, thank you. So, Juror 29 touches on a subject that I wanted to get to next, which is that we, I think, are all familiar with the fact that during this sequence of events, there were a lot of properties and businesses here in the community that were damaged. Some were destroyed with fires. Others were the subject of looting or burglaries, things like that. So what I want to ask, first of all, is how many of you were personally affected by any of the arson, violence, looting, rioting, whatever you want to call it, where your property, your home, your business, anything like that was personally affected by it? Anyone? No hands. Okay. Do any of you have any close friends or family members whose property, your home, their homes, their businesses, etc., were directly affected by any of the violence, any of the property damage that occurred around this period of time? Okay, I see a couple of hands. Let me start in the back row there. I believe that you are in seat number 3, but you are juror number 43, is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
My daughter had a business downtown. It was a morning event and it subsequently closed.
It subsequently closed?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any actual property damage to the business? Okay. What was it that caused it to close?
Just lack of, people were going downtown.
Sure. Okay.
That area.
Sure, I understand. Is there anything about that experience that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror in this case? Okay. Could you pass the microphone to juror number 4 next to you? Did you raise your hand, sir?
I did.
Okay.
Well, I have some coworkers that actually live in apartment buildings real close to the car dealer and a couple other places where garbage trucks were started on fire. So there's a garbage truck. So there was a mandatory evacuation of those apartments. So they had to find other coworkers that could put them up while this is all going on.
Okay. And what part of town was that specifically?
I believe it was 7th Avenue.
Okay. Is there anything about the experiences that your coworkers had that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror?
Just how crazy they said everything was when they came into work every day.
Okay. And do you believe that that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror?
That probably would, no.
Okay, thank you. I think I saw at least one other hand somewhere, but maybe I missed it. Okay. Juror number 40?
ENL office.
I'm sorry?
ENL office manager.
Okay.
And some friends from church live there.
Was that the one down on 60th?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
And they relocated.
And you said these, the people that owned it were friends of yours from church? Okay. Is there anything about that that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror in this case? Okay. Anyone else whose hands I missed with regard to the question of whether or not you have close friends or family members who had homes, property, businesses, etc., that were damaged or affected or burglarized or anything like that during all of these events? And I'm not seeing any other hands. Okay, thank you. I believe the judge may have already asked this question, but is there anyone in the group of 34 that is not currently a resident of Kenosha County? And I ask because we've had a couple of already, so I just want to make sure. All right. I want to continue along the line I was just getting at about the property damage that occurred to some parts of our community. And I know that there were many people who live in our community who felt vulnerable, who felt scared about what might be happening to them, to their homes, to their property. I know juror number 29 already mentioned helping to board up some local businesses. So I want to ask this question. How many of you yourselves, personally, took steps to protect yourself, your family, your home, your business during that period of time? That can range from boarding up windows to moving and staying someplace else. Some people decided to take steps to protect themselves with firearms or other defensive weapons, things like that. How many of you personally decided that you needed to take those steps during that period of time to protect yourself or your family, your home, your business? Okay. I'm going to try and remember all the hands here, but if I forget, I'll come back to you. Let's start in the back row there, juror number 43.
my daughter, my son-in-law, and her baby, they left town. And so I was protecting myself the best way I knew how. I just go home, stay home, and didn't go anywhere. And I also ensure I was fine.
Okay. Thank you. Could you pass the microphone to juror number 4 next to you? Yes.
Yeah, we ended up moving all the vehicles to the back side of the house because we had people walking down the sidewalk in groups. So it made my wife pretty nervous.
All right.
Interesting. Nervous
Anything else
wife.
on that one, sir? No. Okay. Was there anyone else in the back row? Okay. Juror number, I believe you're juror number 58. Is that right? Okay.
We just moved. We just took our family, my entire family. We went out to the county for one of the nights.
Do you have? Okay. I was going to ask you, do you have family out there? Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's stay in the jury box here while we're all close by. I believe that. Was there anyone else in the jury box itself that had their hand raised? Okay. Juror number 14? Okay.
We just spent a few nights at my place of employment just when there were rumors of going after the schools.
And where do you work at?
During charity.
Okay. And so you were concerned about possible damage to the church or looting or something like that?
We just heard the rumors, so we took precautions just to be there.
Okay, thank you. I believe that, and I found everybody's numbers here. Are you juror number 46? Okay, thank you.
I went to my sister's house in Gurney, stayed there for a few days.
Okay, thank you. Where else? Let's see. Do we have any other hands in the jury box or over in the corner? Okay, let's do the front row here. Did anyone else raise their hand in the front row? Okay, juror number 23.
I got a gun to protect my house and my family.
Okay, so am I correct in assuming that you didn't have a gun before this, but you decided to purchase one during this period of time?
They encouraged me to make that decision and get my concealed carry.
Okay. All right, thank you. Jury number 25, did you raise your hand, sir?
I live in the subdivision in the south side of Pleasant Prairie. We assembled a neighborhood watch.
Okay.
Basically, just watch the patrol.
Sure. Did you ever have any problems?
No, we didn't.
Okay, that's good. All right, and then over here in the chairs, I know there were some hands, and I'm sorry I didn't catch everybody. Let's start in the far corner there, juror number 11, I believe. Okay.
Yeah, is this on? Oh, there
Yes.
we go. We pulled our cars to the back of the house, and we closed our doors, made sure everything was locked. We also have a gun for protection, and we moved. We had a blue light out in front of our house in support of the police, but because of the riots, we're concerned about the safety of our home.
The
We
riots.
placed that with a regular bulb.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
So Thin Blue Line calls the protesters rioters. I mean, you know, okay.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
We boarded up our business. We have a showroom. We didn't have any damage or any problems.
Okay. All right, was there anything else that you did personally other than that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, thank you. I know there were other hands. I'm sorry I missed. Let's go to, where am I on the list here? Are you, I got my numbers here. Are you, wait, yes, yes. Sorry, I'm trying to follow the map here. Yes.
We went on a short walk, and all our neighbors got together and had a neighborhood watch. So we had pretty much all stayed in.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else over here in the chairs whose hand I missed? Okay, was there anyone else in the whole group, anyone else whose hand I missed on that? I kind of jumped around a little bit, so I'm sorry.
Almost had a sneeze, but he
Thank you.
suppressed it.
Now, there were many reactions to the shooting of Jacob Blake by a Kenosha police officer. And I think we can all agree there were people that felt that they wanted to exercise their constitutional right to assemble peaceably and protest. Is there anyone who feels that it would be inappropriate for citizens to take to the streets and peacefully protest what they consider to be something that was unjust? Is there anyone who feels that that is inappropriate? Okay. Does everyone understand the difference between that and taking violent actions such as property damage, arson, looting, things like that? Does everybody understand that there's a big difference between those two?
All right, folks. Unfortunately, we've come to the point where I've got to go. I have some meetings coming up. This is going to be a long trial. This is jury selection. We're going to be back tomorrow with more of the trial. I'm also going to be back tonight with the last rallies in the Virginia gubernatorial election. So I hope people will join me tonight. I appreciate everybody who's been here today. I've got to run, as I mentioned at the start of the stream. I had about 2.5 hours of this. Oh, looks like a Coke, maybe a coffee. We're going to be covering the trial, so we will be back with everybody tomorrow. And there are dozens and dozens of streams on YouTube. If you want to continue watching this exact same stream, they're on the homepage. Very, very easy. All right. So I would leave it running, except I need this computer for my meetings, Zoom meetings, etc. We will be back with everybody tonight. Thank you.